you got to treat auditions like a first date. Most times, unless it's a casting director or a director or producer or production team that you worked with, most times they're seeing you for the first time. If you're showcasing for an agent, trying to land an agent, trying to get in the door with a new casting director, or actually book the role, they're also seeing you as a human being in that character. It's you. Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Lars Larsen, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go
Inside the Audition.
Oh, yeah. Episode 155. I got to tell you, Brandon, I'm pumped. No, I'm friggin' pumped, to be exact.
All right.
Yes.
What are you friggin' pumped about, Lars?
Life in general, shows, performances, this podcast, upcoming workshops, big news, bookings, screenings. Ooh. Life is good. I feel like we're a little bit, and when I say a little bit, a lot on fire right now. We are. Welcome, everyone. Those of you watching live on Facebook and YouTube, smash the share button, share it out with your actor friends. We got a great episode today. We're going to make a big announcement at the end of the episode, so stick around. We're also going to talk about how to find your best monologue material so that you can put your best foot forward and showcase your best performances to agents, casting directors, and producers. And we want to just kick this off by talking about some good stuff that's happening. Shout out to Brandon Knox. The both of us had a delightful matinee dinner theater show yesterday. That was a blast.
We did. It was a very fun show. I haven't done that particular show in a while, and it was nice to get back into it and have some laughs with everybody in the room.
Yeah, spoiler alert, and shout out to Toronto Murder Mystery and Peter Dillon. We had Peter on a previous episode from Big Time Entertainment, Big Time Murder, and it was a great show. Brandon and I, spoiler alert, we play a cop duo, kind of a buddy comedy, and then a bunch of the people there also play characters. So that was a blast. That was fun. We got another one coming up tomorrow on a boat. That's going to be fun. Yeah, we're going to be riding on the Obsession 3, launching out of Toronto Harbor for a 3-hour tour. Hopefully we don't get marooned on Toronto Island, but if we did, I'd be okay with that because I love it over there. So
it's very nice over there. I went over there recently. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
It's a hidden gem, and it's not hidden at all. It's right there in plain view of all of downtown Toronto. I personally feel that it's underutilized and undervisited, and all these people like going up to Muskoka and trying to find these getaways when you can just take a quick little ferry across the way for $10. I love it over there. It's beautiful. There's all the touristy stuff and all the kids stuff on Center Island. Then the Wards Island is very quiet. And just picturesque and lovely. And then Hanlon's Point is the party beach and the nude beach and the all the extra fun stuff happening over there. It's great. It's beautiful. I love it. And I think people don't go there enough. I've gone there quite a bit recently where I grab Luna and we walk down to the pier, we grab the ferry, we go across for 3-4 hours, walk like all around the island. Yeah, I did. Two weeks in a row, I went over there on a Saturday night, maybe like 6 o'clock till sunset, little after sunset. got 25,000 steps in. So
Nice.
yeah, it was beautiful.
Nice.
So we're going to be on a boat on Thursday. That's going to be real fun. On Friday, shout out to the cast and crew of We Came to Wreck Everything, which is a feature film that I shot between 2017 and 2019 that was accepted into the Toronto Indie Film Festival this coming Friday. It's actually the opening feature on opening night at the 10 p.m. screening. So anyone in Toronto who wants to come see moi and many other fantastic Toronto actors in a really unique and fun ride of a movie, We Came to Wreck Everything, screens at the Paradise Theater at 10 p.m. Shout out to A.K. Austin, the director, writer, and editor of that. It's been a 6-year labor of love slash slog, I'm sure, for him. But he's completed it. I was having a chat with him last night, and he was a little nervous and anxious, like, how's it going to be received? And I'm like, dude, throw all that out the window. You know how many people never write a movie, never shoot a movie, and never finish a movie? Most people, like 99% of people in the world. And he's done all 3 of those. So my advice to him was just like, it's done. Kick back, celebrate, let yourself enjoy it. And that's really my advice to myself too. And
have you seen an early screener of the film yet, Lars?
No, I've seen bits and pieces throughout, like ADR and rewrites and things. I probably more than any other cast member have been involved in the process throughout the entire process and post.
Okay.
Where I've been seeing bits and pieces of it. So it's really a totally different movie than what we originally shot. It's a great example of the old adage, there's 3 versions of a movie: the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and then the movie that you end up after editing. Yeah. And this has changed so much so, fun fact, maybe we'll talk about this on a future episode, but when I was first cast in that, I was cast in what I would call really a minor bit, kind of, I was like a henchman. Maybe I had 5 or 6 lines. I was in a lot of scenes, but I certainly wasn't a focal point or a lead player. And they shot the principal shooting. Then they ended up doing some rewrites and reshoots. And in the course of rewrites and reshoots, my character became essentially one of the lead characters. So I went from being cast as a bit player in an indie feature to this being my first lead role in a full feature. So that was a real cool lesson of just like show up and do your best. And next thing you know, your small part becomes the lead role of the show. So I'm excited to see it. I've got a ton of voiceover. I'm kind of the narrator of the movie as well too. So yeah.
How far in between like the original shoot of this and like the reshoots? What was the time gap between that?
2 years. We shot in the summer of 2017. They started to edit it all. They put together like a loose rough cut. And what was happening is when they were screening it, A.K. Austin, the writer, he's a brilliant writer, almost to a fault. Like he's like, if he's not a genius, he's borderline genius. So what they were finding in the screenings, there were so many moving parts that people were being like, they were a little confused. They weren't sure. There was some uncertainty about like who the main protagonist was, like who do they need to be following, like really whose story this is. And when you see it, you'll know that there are a lot of moving parts. But so what they ended up doing is they ended up doing these reshoots that made it a little more clear, without spoiling anything, just a little more clear to follow. But essentially, well, that's all I'll say. I was going to say something that might spoil it, but yeah, you got to see it. So Paradise Theater, 10 p.m. this Friday, September 15th. It's the world premiere of the movie at the Toronto Indie Film Festival, not to be confused with the Toronto International Film Festival, which is TIFF, which is also happening right now. This is TOIFF, TOIFF, Toronto Indie Film Festival. It's very confusing. Same city, but different festival. You okay there?
No.
Yeah.
Toy.
Yeah, it's like TOIFF. Yeah. they always piggyback, like it starts the week after TIFF.
Okay.
Basically when TIFF ends, or I guess maybe it's the final weekend of TIFF, and then this thing starts. But it's more for indie films, lower budget. This was an entire feature. I believe the budget was $35,000, which to some people might sound like a good chunk of change, but it is nothing for a feature film. Like it's a miracle. They had to pull in all sorts of favors. Every goodwill gesture and favor that they could get from actors, from crew, from post-production houses. They had to pull that in. And Alex himself, A.K. Austin, the director, he put just a ton of work into it over, like, it's been 6 years. So yeah. I'm sure he's happy to finally rid his hard drive of it. Yeah, so check that out. And I want to give a huge shout out. One of our most recent, newest clients here at Actors Audition Club, Nagin Kamali, was in yesterday for a Zoom audition for a really big network show that's shooting here in Toronto. And a few hours after her Zoom audition, she sent me a message. She said, boom, booked it. So shout out to Nagin. Yeah.
Yeah, go to game.
Yeah, yes. And shout out to her. She took the time. She knew that she had a Zoom audition. She, I guess, maybe didn't have the right space at home. So she booked a session with us. She booked the studio. And in those sessions, what we're able to do is she booked an hour-long session. We have the whole Zoom setup here ready to rock when she comes in. I'm able to rehearse with her. We figure out eye lines, figure out her choices, made sure that we had a couple strong choices for different reads locked and loaded, so that if and when she got a second take, she had an alternate way to play it. Rehearse, and then signed into the Zoom, did it with the casting director, got great feedback in the session, and then like 3-4 hours later, gave me the good news. So congrats to her. That's huge. And it shows off that preparing and rehearsing, especially preparing and practicing like you play, is a winning strategy, because she was quite nervous about the Zoom and the tech and how it all worked and how the session was going to go for her. But by the time we had set it all up and practiced it, she was comfortable in the space. She was relaxed. We'd run it a bunch of times. And so when the time came for the live Zoom audition with casting and production, she had already done it 10, 15 times in the exact space. So no stress, no worries. And she booked it.
Yeah.
So congrats, Nagin. I think maybe she's at home sleeping right now. Apparently she's not getting any sleep from TIFF. She works, or she's on set. She's actually probably on set because she also works crew on several productions as well. And
nice.
I believe she's an executive assistant for some producers and showrunners. So she's very, very busy on both sides of the camera. So shout out to Nagin. We're happy to have you, and so thrilled that you booked your first audition through us with Actors Audition Club. Not her first audition, period, but her first audition with us.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you guys are watching this at home, share this out and share this with your other actors, because right now it's a challenging time, and there's labor disputes in the States, writer strikes, actor strikes in Canada. There's the commercial lockouts. And it's just one of those times where the story and the narrative is, oh, everything sucks right now and everything's tough. And that is a reality. There are strikes and there are work stoppages and things happening. But we just really want to encourage people and inspire people and empower people to act despite those things. You're always going to run into that in your life. There's going to be forces, whether it's the economy or society or who knows what it is. There's just when you have a dream and something that you're really chasing, as Tom Todoroff reminds us, shadow forces are going to align to stop you and to test you, and then positive forces are going to align to help you and move you forward. So you'll always be running into obstacles and struggles and challenges, and you're always going to run into people who want to help you and circumstances that are good, fortunate circumstances. So I think it's a matter of, rather than focus on what you can't control, because I don't think any one of us individually can control whether or not SAG-AFTRA is on strike or not. Like as an individual, obviously the point of striking is to collectively join together and band together through brotherhood and sisterhood. But I don't really control that. I don't control whether all these mega corporations who are now locking out union actors and working with non-union talent, I don't really control over that. But we want to focus on what we can control. So that's what we want to talk about today. Brandon, what can you control? You're an actor who your agent and your actor friends are saying, oh, everything's slow right now. Everything's shut down. Maybe I'm going to quit being an actor. This is too hard. What do you do in the meantime?
A Tom quote really reminds me of this. And it's you as an actor control your own artgasm and insist that there are multiple. The thing that, right?
I love that.
I love that.
Right. Your own artgasm. Yeah, you're in charge. And not just acting, in your entire life. Doesn't matter what's happening. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it.
Things that I do every day to make sure and that I am in tip-top shape and in ready to go for any audition or self-tape or what have you that comes my way. It's been probably about a month and a half since I had an audition. And I still work on monologues every single day. I still work on vocal training and vocal warm-ups every single day. I stretch, make sure that my body is limber. I'm getting up there now. You know,
are you doing the Jean-Claude Van Damme split challenge?
Lars, do I look like I can do the splits?
I think anybody can do it if you practice enough. You just got to stretch it out a little bit every day.
You're not wrong about that. And if I really put my mind to it, maybe.
Right. Just start slowly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just never mind. But like vocal training and monologues are the things that I've been working on a lot recently. I actually do have about 6 that I cycle through.
That's
every
amazing.
single day.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you've still, even though you talk about it's been a little while for your TV and film auditions, but you've been actively cast and working in theater shows and dinner theater shows. You're constantly helping other actors with their auditions, which means you're looking at sides, you're breaking down scenes, you're doing cold reads, you're in class as well. Yeah. I'm sure you're still looking at your goals and your dreams for the future too. So I think you just need to see it as a test. And sadly, I have heard from a lot of actors that maybe like at the extreme case, completely getting out of the business where they're just saying, you know what, enough's enough. I can't possibly make a living, which again, I totally understand. I'm not trying to diminish the reality that there are tough times. What I'm suggesting is that is when you need to double and triple down in your dreams and in your belief in yourself and decide, you know what, that is happening, but I'm going to move forward despite those circumstances. And that's what people in life who get what they want do. And that can be really hard. That can be really frustrating. And I don't want to diminish and be like, oh, Lars is saying that I'm like that I'm just making all this up and it's all in my head. It's not in your head, but it's how you perceive that and how you react to it. And like anything, it's like how you see something determines the possibilities that you have. Like whether it's business or auditions, if you see auditions as a big, scary, nerve-wracking, terrible thing, well, then that's probably going to be your experience of it. If you see the world as this terrible place where everything sucks and everyone's out to get you and everything's getting worse and worse and worse, well, that's probably going to be how you walk around feeling and acting. So that is a choice. And it's like I'm a big believer in Charles Dickens is the best of times, it was the worst of times. Always in all of history, it's always gotten better. Simultaneously, it's always gotten worse. And it just oscillates through seasons. It's sometimes it's harvest season, sometimes it's winter. And you do your best to batten down the hatches and you survive winter.
Analogy?
Yeah. I'm for the farmers out there. You know what I'm talking about. And sometimes you have bad seasons, and like you could plant all your harvest and you do everything perfectly in the spring, and then there's drought or there's a plague of locusts out of your control. But do you then just not plant seeds the next year? I guarantee if you don't plant anything, you're not going to get any harvest. So it's just riding out these seasons, knowing that there will be ups and downs, but knowing that the seeds of your dreams that have been planted in your head by whatever universal forces do that kind of thing, those are your dreams. And it's up to you to see them to fruition and to see them to completion, despite the shit that goes on in the world. So what does that mean? Like Brandon said, voice and speech workouts, reading scripts, reading monologues, attending classes, joining workshops, making connections, updating your materials. What a great time to update your headshots, your demo reels, your resumes, your online profiles. It's like, see that as a blessing. It's the exact same thing as COVID to me, where COVID did suck. It wasn't great. Nobody would be like, yeah, let's do that again. Except tons of people made some incredible leaps and bounds by either changing their lives, getting into new things, dropping old things, finding new habits, finding new routines, finding new jobs, finding new vocations. Like the people who saw that as opportunity and pivot ended up being better than ever, despite one of the shittiest things that could possibly happen to everyone in the world at the same time. And it's the same with economics and business. There's always ups and downs. There's depressions and recessions, but inevitably a fact of those economic downturns is more millionaires and more fortunes are made during those downtimes than ever before, because people find a way to make things happen. The best people in any field, whether it's ups or downs, are still finding ways to turn those into silver lining opportunities. And that's what you got to do. Anything else you want to say about that?
No, it was really great.
Yeah, I think like stick to it. And the other big thing is I think people get confused and brought down by the news. Like we hear these global overarching statements like the economy is down, or productions are down, or all of the union,
or they want to wait until they lose their houses.
Right. But also it's like, okay, yes, in Canada and in the United States, there's far less productions actively being shot because of strikes, because of lockouts. But I don't need every production in the world to be green lit and shooting right now for me to be successful. I need a few. It's like you don't need every director and every producer in all the things to know that you're an actor and to hire you. You need to meet a handful of directors, a handful of producers, a handful of showrunners, and you can make a career out of those 5 or 10 people. So it's a fallacy that to think that, oh, generally things are slow right now, so that means it's going to be slow for me. It doesn't need to be that way. You could have, if there's 1,000 things producing and 990 of them are gone, well, that still leaves 10. You could book a lead role on one of those 10. So I think the other thing to look at this and the other strategy is, rather than just being like, oh, there's nothing I can do, double down and triple down and see all the opportunities that might be out there right now during shutdowns and lockouts and strikes. Maybe that heightens everything that is available, where you're like, okay, well, I really need to make sure I crush all my auditions, because percentage wise or volume wise, there is a little less work. So what I need to do is make sure that every opportunity that does come my way, I seize it even stronger and harder by preparing more, by making sure my auditions rock solid, making sure my preparation is rock solid, so I don't miss any of those. Because we don't strike, we don't know how long it's going to go. In the States, there's still commercial opportunities. Apparently, there's still theater opportunities. You could still be creating your own work behind the scenes, and doing everything you can to move yourself forward. So it's just seizing what you
what
can
you're saying
seize.
is basically, because there's less opportunity currently at this point, it's making every audition that you do have or self-tape that you do have count. And so making sure that you're doubling down on training and that you're doing all that you can control to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and you're showing your best self to casting directors, producers, directors, what have you.
Right. Yeah. If there's more games or less games being played right now, I want to make sure that I'm a leading player in those games as much as possible, even though overall the volume might be lower right now. Yeah, it's just seizing those opportunities. And really what it does is it increases the competition level. It's like, yeah, now there is far more actors fighting for a lot less positions because a lot less is shooting right now. But that's kind of always the case. It's like it's always only ever the one actor out of 500 who submits for the role who gets it. So we've chosen, remember this, you chose this too. I don't think anyone twisted your arm and was like, you're going to be an actor. Fuck med school and law school.
Like what a lot of people do is they end up downplaying how much work it's actually going to be, because as Tom brings up as well, like you've done school productions, you've done community theater productions, but like really for both of those things, you're paying to be there. Like they're getting money from you so that you can do this. Right. And someone is actively paying you to use your skill that you have trained to do it at different teachers at different times, over years of training, to do the skill that you can do. You know, as I think we've brought this up before, but you don't hire a plumber or a dentist that's just like that has never done the job before.
Right.
They take years. They take years to train these people so that they can do the job effectively.
Yeah, no, they're not like, oh yeah, I watched this show on plumbing on TV and it seems really cool. I'd like to get into that. Well,
or you don't hire a plumber that's like, oh yeah, my Aunt Lucy, I paid her $50 to change her toilet.
Right.
It's like, wait, so you paid her to do this?
What you're saying is there's a craft and there's technique and training that needs to go into it. And again, it's funny to me even saying this right now, because there's a past version of myself that wasn't aware of any of that stuff. And I was just had a big chip on my shoulder. Oh, I've got charisma. I've got personality. I've been on stage doing stand-up and sketch comedy, but for TV and film and theater acting, like the technique and the craft of acting, I didn't have any respect for that. Not because I was exposed to it and rejected it. I just hadn't been exposed to that level of training. And then through training with Tom and conservatory, it's like, now I get it. I see what people are actually learning. And you end up, in the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. And then you have your eyes opened and you're like, oh shit, now I know what I don't know. And then eventually you know what you know. Yeah, we lost Brandon. He's blurry. Blurry Brandon. There you go. Not quite. So anything else where we want to pivot on that note?
No, I think we can move on. Let's move on to our second topic today.
Yes. So second topic we want to talk about is how to find, in this time, you want to be working on material. So we want to talk about how to find strong monologues. Scenes are great if you have a scene partner, but the great thing about monologues is they're like scales for musicians, because you can work on them solo, you can work on them on your own time, you don't need a rehearsal buddy, and you can make a lot of headway and progress just working on a handful of monologues. Brandon mentioned he's got 6 in the bag right now that he's rotating through. So we wanted to talk a little bit about, there he is. He's back. Let's bring him back. Come on.
No, sorry. I'm here. You can still hear me.
He's here. But we want to see you too. So we want to talk about how to find monologue audition material. And I think people often fall into some traps here. So we've got a brief little checklist on just some best practices. And this is stuff that we've been taught over the years. So we've got a quick little list of 5 things. So number 1, keep it short, 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds max. Yeah. Nobody wants to see you ranting and raving for 6-7 minutes. We live in an Instagram, TikTok world. People have short attention spans. You're far better to showcase something real strong that finishes in 60 seconds, a minute 15, maybe 90 seconds max. Much like demo reels, you're far better to just bingo, bango, bongo, in and out, wow them, and then leave them wanting more, rather than someone being like, okay, I get it. Oh man, is he still going? That's no good. All you need is 60 to 90 seconds. Keep it short and lean towards the 90 seconds. Leave them wanting more. And that's enough to get, you can do great work in 60 seconds. Yeah. And the problem with longer ones, people doing 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, they spend all the time memorizing lines and they don't think about intention or actually how to perform or how to tell the story. And then so it's just this 6-7 minute thing of regurgitating memorized lines that doesn't mean anything. You watch it and you're like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. He's memorized 6 minutes of text, but has no idea beat by beat or thought by thought what is actually going on or how to convey that to an audience. So if you're showing that in a showcase to an agent or a casting director, it's like they're just going to be lost and they're going to be rolling their eyes or wishing, or worst case, you get like, okay, that's great. Do you have anything else? Like in minute 4 of a 6-minute thing. And you don't want them shutting off your tape or shutting off your demo reel. You want them saying, oh, wow, that was amazing. Can I see that again? Do you have another one that's something like that? So first note, 60 to 90 seconds, keep it short. Nobody wants to have to blow their brains out watching you do a 6-minute monologue.
Yeah.
Note number 2.
Number 2 is beginnings, middle. This will sort of tie in. Beginning, middle, and end that makes sense and stands alone. I was just thinking this while we were talking about the 60 to 90 seconds. You should almost do a scroll test. If you're listening to your own monologue and going, I would scroll away from this if I was watching Instagram or something.
Right.
Then do it again.
Yeah. Well, you also might see, you see a progress bar, you see how long it is. You're like, shit, I'm not going to watch a 7-minute video here. But if it's like 59 seconds, 70 seconds, it's like, okay, I'll buckle up for that and see this through.
But to do that, you have to have a strong beginning. You have to have a strong opening, because that's how we introduce ourselves. That's and really all 5 of these of this list really sort of tie into each other. And I feel like that's always the beauty of acting and auditioning, is all the things that we that contradict each other really go into helping each other work. And that's right. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's like an engine. It's like an engine or a computer. It's like it's got all these components and parts, but when you put them all together, they're all clicking and they're all working. And I think it also comes down to storytelling. So yeah, it's got a beginning, a middle, and end. So it's got an arc. You start somewhere, you end somewhere that's different. And standing alone from the entire piece, meaning someone can watch that 60 to 90 second monologue that you're performing and know what the fuck you're talking about without seeing the whole movie or reading the whole play. And there's a trap sometimes of just assuming your audience is going to know it. And especially if you take it from a play, if you take it from act 3 and you're referencing, oh, there's my uncle and her name and his name and Doug and this lady and that lady and your neighbor, it's like, I don't know who any of those people are. I don't know what you're talking about. Or if you're referencing things that happened in the past, it's like, I don't know what any of that means. So
I've actually found that with a monologue that I've been working on for the last little while. And it's one of my 6. And I've been doing it recently and thinking about it. Like, is this as clear as it could be? Or do I need to find another piece? It's active, it's talking about something, but sometimes it's not as clear. It's clear for me because I've been doing the monologue for probably about 12 years. But is it going to be clear for someone that has never heard of this piece, that has never seen it before, that is just being introduced to me right now? And does this speak to the best of my ability as it currently is? And I've been toying around with this idea for the last week or so. And so I sort of need to make a decision fairly quickly.
Yeah, and you can cycle these out. Like maybe you work on one and you realize, okay, now I've got other ones that are better that can knock it out. Like you've got your starting lineup that you can continually up level, improve, and swap things out.
Yeah.
So that was number 1, 60 to 90 seconds max. Number 2, it's got a beginning, middle, and end that stands alone outside the piece. So people will be able to get the sense of what is happening without you having to, oh, that's his uncle, and earlier in the play he killed this guy and he's trying to get money from it. Like you don't have time to explain all that stuff.
No.
So number 3 is that the monologue contains something that you're fighting for in present tense. So you're actively fighting for something. There's a want, so that you could answer. If someone was like, what do you want in this scene? You would have a strong answer, versus the trap of what might be called a memory piece, where you're describing something that happened in the past. Sometimes those can work, but you have to make them really active, and you have to almost like translate it in a way that you're acting out that stuff in the past currently. Like sometimes when you meet a good storyteller, they can they're telling a story that happened 20 years ago, but they're telling it in such a way that they're actively doing it and fighting for these things in that present moment. So it's like you're watching the story play out in real time now, versus someone just waxing poetic, like, oh, back in the day, it was such a lovely date. We were so in love. Like those can be dangerous, where it's like you're just listening to someone almost give what's the word, exposition, where it's just you're just telling me about something that happened somewhere else, but nothing active is happening in the scene right now.
Yeah, and you need something active. One of the first acting lessons I remember learning was when I pre-auditioned for the University of Windsor, which is the conservatory program that I did end up going to. I met
remember
the director.
This story. This is a great story. Yeah.
This is a fun story. Someone had got up to do a monologue, and it was about a story. And Lionel got up, who was the director of the drama school at the time. I believe he is the vice dean now of the whole university. But he got up and was like, "Hey, so like great start, but you really want to pick a monologue that you have something that you're fighting for right now, because that'll just be more engaging for the audience." And he's like, "Okay, so who's ready to go up next? How about you?" And he points to me, and I'm like, I prepared a speech, but I'm like, "You're not gonna like it." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna be the judge of that, okay?" I was like, "Okay, sure. I'm just telling you, you're not gonna like it." And the first line of the monologue was, "Well, let me tell you a story."
Right. Which sometimes can work if you make it active and you really figure out how to make it present and in the moment.
But I think at like 17 or 18, you really want something that's a clear fight rather than something that's not that's just a passive memory. And like that's what it really was. It was a memory piece. And so like especially if you're just starting out or just auditioning for schools or drama programs or something like that, you want something that is a clear fight, a clear want. And it's I find it's the same with stand-up comedians, because like they'll get up and start doing a bit that I've seen before, and they'll say, "Oh, well, yesterday my friend did this," and blah blah blah, and like they've told it a lot, they've told it a million times before, and it happened maybe a year ago, but like they say, "The other day my friend did this," right? And it just makes it more, oh, this just happened to you.
Yeah, make it active and present tense. Number 4 is choose something that you love and choose something that showcases you and your unique personality the way you would showcase you and your unique personality on a first date with someone that you wanted to move forward with in life. Meaning, be wary of the trap of, oh, this is a screaming victim piece where the whole point of it is I'm trying to show you that I can bawl my eyes out. Or the flip side, this is the most racist, horrendous rant to show you what a mean, crazy psycho I can be. You got to treat auditions like a first date. Most times, unless it's a casting director or a director or producer or production team that you worked with, most times they're seeing you for the first time. If you're showcasing for an agent, trying to land an agent, trying to get in the door with a new casting director or actually book the role, they're also seeing you as a human being in that character. It's you. It's not like, oh, that was just me. It's you. It's your body. It's your voice. So choose things that you enjoy doing, choose things that showcase, ideally focus on love and humor, really find love and humor. And it's amazing how many monologues people are like, this is just a screamy, cryy rant with tons of anger and just negative. And yeah, the person might be like, oh, wow, that was powerful how you screamed at us for a minute and a half, but it's not going to feel good. And subconsciously, they're not going to be thinking, man, that seems like a fun person to work with. Yeah, they know you're an actor, but the subconsciously, the message is going to be like, whoa, fucking psycho, or whoa, victim, or whoa, problem on set, or whoa, psychological problems, rather than how about lead with love and fun. And again, back to Todorov. Funny is money, charming is disarming. Nobody ever dumped someone because they were too funny. So lean towards that. Find something that's fun and something that's got some love in it and that showcases the best of you and somebody that you would actually want to be and words that you would want to be saying, like rather than just like, oh, for an hour last night, I was rehearsing my horrendous monologue that makes me feel like shit. It's like, okay, great. Yeah, you can scream and cry for an hour, but do you want to? And is that what the world needs more of right now? Probably not. There's enough screaming, ranty, racist, negative, crying, awful shit in the world right now. So maybe you be the breath of fresh air with some love, some positivity, and some humor in your piece. And then they'll be like, oh man, this guy's a fucking barrel of monkeys. He'll be fun on set, rather than like, oh, does this guy need to see someone? Is he off his medications?
And also, if it's fun for you to work on,
right,
then you are also more likely to work on it.
right. Yeah.
That's
versus
like,
great. I got to go to this
terrible things. Like we
got to
want to have fun.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people who think that is the hallmark of being an actor is how angry and loud and how much of a psycho I can be. And yeah, there's a time and place for that stuff. Or how I can bawl and cry and show them how emotionally vulnerable I am. And yeah, there's a time and a place for that too. But if you were to, hi, how you doing? Pleased to meet you. That's probably not the time and place to showcase that stuff. Lead with love and lead with humor and make some fucking friends, and then be like, oh, by the way, I can be a crazy psycho too, or I can cry on command if that's what you need me to do too. Like, that's never what they need you to do. But that's what a lot of people think is good acting. And it's really not about that. And number 5,
avoid iconic monologues from movies and TV played by star actors. Now, these are the monologues that you can easily find on YouTube that are like, this is the best performance I've ever seen. Something like that. If you're like, I want to do the speech from There Will Be Blood by Daniel Day-Lewis at the end of the movie where he says, I will drink your milkshake, that is a wrong choice.
Yes. Real fun and real cool. But if you're presenting that, it's for 2 reasons. One, nobody is going to not see Daniel Day-Lewis and then compare you to Daniel Day-Lewis as a shittier version of Daniel Day-Lewis. It's going to be impossible. They're not going to separate that. And the other thing is, you're not going to be able to put your performance into it without being influenced by it. So one other side note that relates to this is, if it is something from movies and TV, in all cases, if you haven't seen it, avoid watching it, because that and ideally, like, that's why I think theater pieces are probably the best places to find things. It's often better writing, and chances are less people have seen it. But yeah, don't pick the Academy Award winning actor from this past year, his biggest scene, because everyone knows that, and no one is going to be able to disassociate that A-list Hollywood actor from that role, and they're going to stack you up next to them, and the chances of you doing it better is going to be slim to none. And it's just not going to showcase you. You're going to be copying to some degree. You're going to be copying and influence, and beat by beat. Oh, this is where he raised his eyebrow, and this is where he got real loud, and this is where he got real quiet. You're going to copy all that, and it's not the point. So find more obscure things, maybe some older things. You can find contemporary stuff, but just don't pick the biggest movie in the social zeitgeist that everybody's talking about. And like, Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep, Heath Ledger, all of these people, like
Robin Williams. All of these people are greats in their own right, but like you don't want to be regurgitating what they are, because you're just an imitation of what they are.
Right. You don't want people immediately after your first line going, oh, I know what this is from. This is Daniel Day-Lewis's speech from There Will Be Blood. You want them to go, wow, that was incredible. What's that from? And then you tell them what it was from, and they're like, oh, wow, really cool. That was great. Never seen that before.
So we just got a comment from a Facebook user saying, that's the trap I'm in now. Love it. Great that you're here then. We're here to help you find out how to find different monologues.
Facebook user, tell us who you are. There's somewhere on the button, there's a permission to give StreamYard permission to see your face. We can't see your face if you haven't given StreamYard permission. But let us know who you are, and let us know which trap you mean and why. You're talking about using an A-list star's monologue. And if that's the case, you just need to dig deeper. So while we're waiting for that question, we're going to share some monologue resources. And I want to preface this with saying, like, man, Google is your best friend. There's really no excuse. All of the world's information is at your fingertips, so you can find it, versus back in the day, pre-internet, you had to go to a library or like a theater bookstore or a theater library and comb through all this stuff to find it. Now you can find it at your fingertips. Literally Google audition monologues, audition scenes, and there'll be a ton of resources. We're going to spoon feed some to you right now. So Brandon's going to share some resources that we've found. But really what it is, it's taking the time to read a lot of material and read it and reread it, and you'll find things that you love. You'll find things for the maybe pile, but really only find things that are like A+ winners. Find things that fit all those categories we talked about. So 60 to 90 seconds. You're fighting for something in the present moment, filled with love and humor. I'm losing my my checklist. We just
showcases you and your unique personality, like it's a first date that has love and humor, and avoid iconic monologues from movies and TVs played by star actors.
Right. So let me reiterate that one more time, especially so that we got a great clip for the internet. When you're looking for a monologue, these are some of the best practices. Keep it 60 to 90 seconds, short and sweet. Leave them wanting more. Nobody wants to see 5 minutes of you screaming and ranting. 2, make sure it's got a beginning, middle, and end and stands alone from the entire piece so that when you do it, people understand what is happening without having to see the movie or read the whole play. 3, it contains something that you're fighting for in this present moment. So be wary of memory pieces where you're just describing something that happened passively way back in the past. 4, showcases you and your unique personality like a first date. So lean towards love, humor, and positivity. And 5, avoid iconic things from movies and TV that have been done by stars. That's the 5 best practices list. So we're going to link up some of these. Did we throw the links in there?
I will be throwing them in the chat right now.
Yeah, throw them in. It's Marco. Yeah, great. Marco, he was actually like, it could be a fun exercise, but Marco was recording himself, and in his head, what he was doing is doing it exactly like the original actor was doing. So it was like, how closely can I mimic this? Which, okay, there's some value in mimicry and impressions, but that's not what's going to land you a role, is how great your Daniel Day-Lewis impression was. Unless it was specifically the role of Daniel Day-Lewis impersonator, then have at it. But okay. So Marco's saying there was also a scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I fucking love. And I love everything in there. You might be able to find something obscure. Like, I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia is very popular, but I don't think it's as popular as the Academy Award-winning best movie. It's a little niche, but this is a very popular show that's been around for a long, long time. So I would be wary of that too. But yeah, shout out to Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love that show. So that's fun exercise. But if the purpose is you want to showcase your acting abilities to a new agent, to a new casting director, to a production team to win a role, then I would steer clear of that stuff. So Brandon is putting some of these links in the comments. For those of you who are listening later in time and aren't with us live right now, we'll link those up in the show notes as well. But spend the time finding things, and it's reading, and you'll find a lot of things that don't work. You'll find one and be like, no, where's the love? Where's the humor? No, there's not really a beginning, not really a middle, not really an end. The other pro tip is edit it. Nobody is like, when you're actually putting up a theater piece, I mean, most times legally, the playwright doesn't allow you to edit their words. But if you're just doing an audition, a monologue for an audition for theater, TV, film, there's no monologue police out there, as far as I know. So feel free to edit stuff. I've edited things where I'm like, you know what, it doesn't make sense. I can cut that line because it's referring to something that's already happened, and nobody's going to make sense of it. Or sometimes you realize I've gone on a little long. The sweet spot to end would have been right there. The other pro tip that you can do is you can sometimes find a great scene and just edit out the other character's lines and stack your lines together, and boom, all of a sudden you crafted this magical monologue, which, by the way, no one is ever going to do. No one's ever going to be like, oh yeah, I saw that monologue, which is a truncated scene where you cut out the other characters' lines. I've seen this. It's great. Like, you're almost guaranteeing you're going to show something fresh and new that they've never seen before. And they might be like, that's familiar. What's that from? And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And you take your one side of it and tweak it and edit it, cut out the other character, and boom, you got a monologue. I've found stuff doing that. That was a great, I don't know who told us that, but that was a great tip.
Yeah, that's how I found my monologue from Proof. I worked on a monologue for my the New York intensive. I worked on a scene with another actor and discovered that I could make a monologue out of part of the scene that I had already worked on. And I've been using that as probably my main monologue for the last little while. I used that to get a callback for a musical not that long ago.
Because ultimately, what is a monologue? It's you saying words and moving your body to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it came from a list of monologues or was words that you found and edited together. Some people who are great writers too. I know some, if you're not a great writer, I would avoid writing your own because you might not have the sensibility to write something that's very strong. Which again is why theater pieces are often the best, because usually the writing is the strongest in theater pieces. But if you are a writer, have at putting together your own, or maybe you have a few that you're working on that are written by professional screenwriters and playwrights, but then maybe you have one of your monologues is a piece that you self-wrote. But again, be wary of that, because sometimes, especially if it's a first audition, first interview, sometimes there's a little bit of an eye roll from people. It'd be like, oh, and what were you performing? Oh, I wrote this myself. It's got to be fucking good. It's got to be real good. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, we could tell you wrote this yourself. It wasn't great. Yeah. Okay.
So should we get into? Yeah, let's get into the announcement.
Yes. So here's the huge announcements that we got. In the spirit of working on things while things are a little slow, and working on yourself and your audition technique, and working on monologues, we are announcing today that Actors Audition Club is going to be running a free Audition Hero self-tape challenge. And you can get registered for that right now. The link is live. Go to laughingvikings.com/challenge. This is a free challenge, and I'll tell you exactly what we are going to be doing. I'm going to type it in myself. All you got to do is enter your email to get registered. And the challenge, what are we going to do? We're going to help you shoot stronger self-tapes and book more roles. So if you're one of those people who's stuck in the self-tape spiral of stress, we want to make sure that you don't let any more audition opportunities slip past you. So the free challenge is going to get your self-tape auditions back on track so you can finally shoot your best performances, get more callbacks, and ultimately book more roles. And not any roles, book the roles that you've always dreamed about. So there's going to be 5 separate trainings. Training number 1, we're going to show you how to master your audition preparation and your rehearsal process. And we're going to give you strategies that are going to help you create compelling performances that stand out in less time so that you can hit those tight deadlines without sacrificing the quality of your work. Training number 2, we're going to show you how to boost your home studio production value. And in that training, you're going to discover some of the most important steps that you need to improve your home studio so that your self-tape quality represents you as a professional and separates you from other amateur actors. Training number 3, we're going to help show you how to find more love, conflict, and humor in your performances. 3 things that can help you stand out. So we're going to show you some of the fastest ways that you can make your auditions stand out and be more compelling to agents, casting directors, and producers without you ever having to worry about what do they want. Training number 4, we're going to show you how to improve your storytelling using vocal variation and viewpoints. And we're going to show you some of the simplest ways that you can elevate your storytelling abilities using your voice, using movement, using framing, so that casting directors literally can't wait to bring you back for those big audition opportunities because you make them look good. Training number 5 is going to be putting all those puzzle pieces together and putting the puzzle pieces of your performance together. And in day 5, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it together by showing you the key elements that you need to find more auditions, to elevate your performance, and ultimately book more roles so that you can build a sustainable career as an audition hero. So how do you get registered? Go to laughingvikings.com/challenge right now. All you got to do is drop the best email, and then we'll send you a welcome email with some preparation steps, and we'll let you know all the details of when those trainings will be happening. But I'm fucking pumped to do this. Are you excited to do this training, Brandon?
Yes.
I'm excited for this one. It's going to be a great week of training. Ultimately, it's 5 trainings. There's going to be live components and there's going to be replays. So doesn't really matter the details of when it's happening and dates and times. You'll get all that stuff, but don't even worry about your schedule, because whether you can join us live or just get the emails of the training replays emailed to you, you can work it and catch up on your own time. So it's super flexible. It's going to be real fun. I'm going to be there. Brandon's going to be there. Aaron Elizabeth Reed is going to be there. A bunch of our Actors Audition Club members and clients are going to be there. So it's going to be a great opportunity to get some great training. And ultimately, again, the promise is that we'll help you shoot stronger auditions and book more roles. But there's going to be a big community part where you're going to get to meet and collaborate and network with other actors who are also growth-minded, and not just actors in your area. You'll get to meet an international community of actors. And a little birdie told me there's going to be prizes and giveaways. So throughout the training, there's going to be some homework and some little assignments, but we're going to pick prizes, some random giveaways, some prizes based on performance and submissions. And over the course of the week, we're all going to work on a monologue. So the other great thing about the end of the training is by the end of this challenge, you're going to have a polished monologue that we've worked with you on, show that you have something recorded to showcase your best work right now to casting directors, to agents, to production, so that you have something that is current to put your best foot forward to showcase yourself, to win those roles. So it's going to be a great week, but with a real tangible outcome of you're going to have your best monologue right now, ready to rock, that you can do it live, or you can send a video to an agent, to a casting director, to a production team to say, hey, check me out, motherfuckers. Maybe don't say motherfuckers. So again, go to laughingvikings.com/challenge. You'll get an email with all the details. That is coming very, very soon, but the registration page is open right now. So make sure to hop on board. It's going to be awesome. And by the end of it, you're going to be shooting stronger self-tape auditions in less time. And ultimately, the goal of that is, if you're shooting stronger performances over the long haul, you're going to book more roles because you're doing a better job. Anything else you want to add, Brandon Knox?
Just that I'm very excited to see what people submit, and I'm very excited for next week. I'm very excited to see how we can improve people's auditions and get them excited for this period of time. And as we talked about off the top, it's been difficult, but you are in control and you are in the driver's seat of your career. So take the opportunity now. Take the opportunity to do this challenge, to network with other people, to improve your craft, and just have some frickin' fun.
Have some freaking fun, would you, already? Instead of just bemoaning the state of the world, take control of what you can take control of, and be the person when there are obstacles and struggles and challenge. You double and triple down, and you move forward despite those challenges. Yes. And that's what we're going to be doing. So join us, laughingvikings.com/challenge for the free Audition Hero Self-Tape Challenge. It's coming up real soon, but you got to get registered. You'll get all the details emailed to you. There'll be some pre-training and a few little steps to get yourself prepared. but it's going to be a great time. And at the end of the trainings, you're going to have a very strong monologue. You're going to be shooting stronger self-tapes. And ultimately, over the long haul, you're going to book more roles as a result.
Yeah.
Sha-la-la-la.
Don't wait. Do it now.
Don't wait. Do it now. Yes. Don't wait. The spots may be limited. I don't know what number we're going to limit it at, but the sooner you register, if we do have to cut it off, if you're on the list, then you'll be in. And if you're too far down the list, we might have to punch you to a future training. But get registered right now so that you can be a part of the first one. I think that's it for today. So yeah, thank you everyone. And again, yeah, move forward despite what's going on in the world right now. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. There's lots of good stuff happening, and yeah, you'll get there. And don't quit. You can quit, but I mean, part of me is like, should we be telling people to quit? Leaves more roles for us. But don't quit on your dreams. I don't want to see people quit on your dreams. If you really don't want to be doing this, then don't do it. But if you have a dream where you want to be an actor and you want to work in TV, film, theater, commercials, voiceover, video games, then despite the fact that there's ups and downs in the world and the global economy and shutdowns and strikes and lockouts, you can still make it happen for you. You just got to make the right choices and control what you can control. And one of the things you can control is subscribing to this podcast. So if you haven't subscribed already, we're on every podcast platform, whatever one is your favorite: Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch the videos on YouTube. You can join us on Facebook. And as always, if you want to reach out, just shoot us a DM on Instagram at Actors Audition Club. If you ever have a question, you want a suggestion for an upcoming episode, you want to learn more about our training, you want to learn more about the membership at Actors Audition Club, all of those things, you can just reach out at any time. We are available. We're here to help you. We are a big believer in a rising tide lifts all boats. So we're here trying to make it better for everybody.
So come on down. We'll help you.
So come on down, everybody.
Come on down.
laughingvikings.com/challenge. There you go. Woo. All right. Great episode, everyone. And we'll see you soon in the free Audition Hero self-tape challenge.